Welcome back to Nano Education. In this video, we'll be building a calculator app. So I know, hold your comments, that in the last video we did create a calculator app, except that was on the command line. In this video, I want to create a calculator app using Python, and a framework which is called Flask. Alright, it's a micro framework, and we're going to use it to build a simple app. So we're going to build a simple calculator app, and basically you're gonna kind of get introduced to it, but I kind of assume that you have, you played with Python, you probably tried Flask, like running it probably. Alright, so let me go and demonstrate it to you guys. So let's just do want to add, right? So you do 2 plus 2, add, make sure it's add, calculate 4. Let's just do 12, and then let's take away 5.5, and let's subtract it. 6.5, let's do, and it automatically clears, so it's like a very good app for like actual usage. And let's do 45, and I want to divide 9. Let's do 10 times 5, and we want to multiply. It's 50. Alright, so very simple enough. I think I like this better than my real calculator. It's actually very fluent. Yeah, I actually like it a lot better than my real calculator. Alright, so basically this is a 4-function calculator, very basic, and we will be using Flask in this obviously, so let's go and get started. Alright, so inside your directory, what you want to go ahead and do is open up your terminal. Alright, you can open up, I'm opening up my integrated VS Code terminal, and what else? Or you're going to open up your standard command line or terminal. So, just like many people, I am the same type. I cannot remember the commands needed to like install something. So what I've done for you guys is I created a Git repository with all the code that we have, and I have included the commands for you, so that just copy and paste them from here. And then like as you start doing it, you'll actually learn a lot better, and sooner or later you can do this with your eyes closed. So that's what we want to achieve. But for now, we just want to get it from here. And anyway, this will reduce the number of errors I make. So let's start. So we want to, first of all, start by installing the package that lets us create virtual environment, which is pip install pip env. So I already have it installed, but otherwise it should go through the installation process. And then to run the virtual environment, we have to do pip env shell. So you will use this command to create the virtual environment and activate it. So I went ahead and activated mine. So you know when it's in the virtual environment when it says that name of the virtual environment. Alright, so it should say the name of the app, full directory you're in. And then we want to install Flask. So we do pip env install Flask. But before we do that, I'll show you. When I run Python 3- version, I get Python 3.7.4. But so we want to exit out the virtual environment and then do a Python version 2.7, alright? And so then to get back in, you use pip env shell. Let me show you Python version, and you have to type into 3.7.4, alright? So that's what I'm trying to show you. So we want to go ahead and install Flask, so we'll do pip env install Flask. And I probably did it wrong, so pip env install Flask. That should be much better. Alright, so it's going to create all my files, and it's locking up the packages stuff. So until that's loading, I want to show you guys this pip file I created. So this is a TOML file, TOML. Alright, so if you're not getting, so right now we just install Flask, so we see Flask. The Python version is 3.7, and then it has some stuff that I probably don't know about. So what you want to do is that to get the syntax highlighting, just go to your extension, look for TOML. It's this one I'm using. Very good. So it does give you the syntax highlighting for a TOML file, and you will actually find yourself using TOML files a lot probably if you're playing with like virtual environments. So the way of creating my virtual environment that I did is a pretty good way. It's a pretty fast way, but there are other ways that like you might have like source like the bin and all that. But do not worry, ours is very simple. Alright, so I'm going to clear my terminal, and what I want to do is create an app.py. So this is like the entry point to my app. And in here, so you will start getting these errors. I knew about these errors. So you just copy and paste the command. Make sure you're inside your virtual environment. But before we do that, we're gonna check down here and make sure you're inside your virtual environment also. That's if you're using Visual Studio Code. I couldn't find it. Pip env. Oh, I already had it. Never mind. There. So once that's installed, we can go exit out, and then we shouldn't get it. And then we'll also start giving us a auto pep 8. So this is a formatter. We can go and copy that. Inside the second terminal, I'll go start it. So we have two tasks running at the same time. Alright, this is done. I'm going to get rid of this terminal and just wait for this. So, until then, let's go to import. Let's go to get Flask. So from Flask, we want to import Flask, render underscore template, and then request. So, basically, what does this mean? So we're saying that from Flask, I want to import Flask, render template, and request, right? So this is a different way to say it. So now what we want to go ahead and do is start the app production. Alright, so what we want to do is just declare the app. So we'll say app is equal to Flask, double underscore. So let me make sure double underscore name underscore, right? And then we want to go and start with an app route. An app route. So I'm actually taking this tutorial sort of as if, like, basically, I'm also assuming you have some knowledge of, what's it called, like, Flask and Python. But at the same time, I'm also assuming that you have very basic knowledge of it. Alright, so we're basically starting an app route, which is the /, right? So regular /. Alright? And then we want to declare a function, which I want to. So to declare a function in Python, use def, and then the function is main. And remember, we're not doing this like in like other programming languages like C#, Dart, and JavaScript. Instead, we want to do a colon enter. That's how you declare a function. So declare the main function. All right. So inside of main, I want to go ahead and return. So I want to show you that. So we want to return a render template. So template of app.html. Sorry, so if I spell that correctly. Now, what you want to go ahead and do. So why am I opening extra tabs? Alright. So what I want to go ahead and do is that, if I can fix this, is to run this. So what we will do is just say Flask run. So it gives us a URL, so we can go to our local host 5000. Internal server either. Okay, so first of all, I forgot to create the app.html. So inside a folder called templates, you want to create app.html. Inside of here, you're going to put that simple boilerplate, and we'll just say calculator app. Alright, so explanation point, simple boilerplate, and then calculator app, and then we just want to say h1 for calculator app. Alright, so we're going to quit that and then redo Flask run. Hopefully this time we get that h1 calculator app. Yay! So we actually succeeded, instead of failing. Alright, so now what we're going to go ahead and do is inside the HTML, I want to create the inputs that we need. So what I want to go ahead and do is so we want to use skeleton CSS. So we do skeleton CSS CDN on Google and grab it. Alright? Hopefully you know what I'm talking about by CDN. So we want to do link, paste. Alright? This all is in the GitHub repository. You don't have to like literally get it from Google, just get it from there. So skeleton CSS gives us a container which we can use. Inside of that one it puts an H3, right? So not an H1. That's a little too big. And we're going to call it calculator app. Hope I spelled that right. So what we're going to do is going to rerun the app and see what happens. Alright, we got calculator app. Yay. So now, outside of div container, I want to have the form. Alright, so the form is sort of the difficult part, and sort of it's not. So what we're going to go ahead and do is that you want to go back to your GitHub repository, go to templates, app.html, and you want to go ahead and get the form, and I'll explain it to you in just a second. So until the input, right? The form like submission input. So let me explain this to you from the top. So we have a form inside a container which has an action which sends to send. /send which is a method of post. Alright, so this is the URL our form will submit to. You'll see in a second. This is our label for the first number we want. We have a type of text, placeholder, a class of full width, which will let the input be full width, and then the names. So because we need a name whenever we're working with server side, another label, another input, same thing, this is for number 2, and then we have a select list, alright, where we can choose our multiplication, divide, addition, and then all these have a value so our server can pull the value from it, alright, and then we give it the whole thing a name of operation, alright, and then we have an input which is a submit with an ID of calc_btn. So what we want to go ahead and do is I want to add some styling, but we're not going to add that right now. Instead, we're going to see how our app looks. So you want to quit the Flask server and rerun it every time you want to see the app. Alright, so we got our inputs. So what happened, let's just say we run the app right now. Let's calculate the URL wasn't found. Well, that's because we haven't do it. So we're going to say form submission URL. So route. So we're creating that route for submitting our form. So if you recall, what was our send? Like what route we were going to? So we'll say app.route, and we were sending to send, right? And then our method was post. So we'll say methods is equal to post. Alright? And then now we want to define a send function, which will take in, so I don't want to do that right now. And we'll say if, so now what we want to do is the request we imported, we want to check if the form's like method is post. If it is, when we'll start pulling our data. So start pulling data from form input. So we'll say num1 is equal to request.form of so num1. We'll put that down. This is num2. And then we have operation. Alright, which is operation. Alright. Simple enough. We have pulled our data. So what we want to go ahead and do is I want to do the calculation. So we'll do the calculation if statements. Alright? So for the calculation if statements, we want to be inside the if statement we're already in for the post, and we'll start pulling. So we'll say if operation is equal to add. So just like in our last video, we checked what was the operator the person used, and we'll say sum is equal to float. For num1, we want to turn this into floats. This is very similar to the last one, except we have a new return render template. This time we want to return app.html with sum equals sum. We are basically passing in a prop, so like a React prop basically, of sum. Alright, which we're gonna bring in sum from here. Sum is equal to sum. So this is like a global variable we're basically assigning, saying that hey, I have this variable sum, alright? If it's an addition, so if I'm adding, basically passing the addition sum variable, alright? Otherwise, now we're going to do an elif. So if operation is equal to subtraction, I want to send sum is equal to float of num1 minus float of num2. Right, and then we want to also return render template app.html and sum is equal to sum. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just copy this down. Make sure you're indenting right, otherwise nothing's going to work. So if multiply, we want to multiply when that happens. Yeah, one more time. If you don't indent correctly, you're going to have some weird results, trust me. anyone divide. Alright, now we just want an else statement. So we have a if else, just in case none of these work, possible. People do stuff these days. So we'll do app.html, just return back to app.html. Want to quit our server, do Flask run, go back, refresh. Let's do 2 plus 2, add, calculate. Alright, the method did work. No errors. So where do we insert the sum? So what I want to do is go below the input. So we're just going to include our template tags and put sum. Now when we do 2 plus 2, add, we don't get it. Weird enough. Why are we not getting it? Let me check quickly. Oh, I did say sum is equal to sum everywhere. I'm gonna forget. Wait, so I'm definitely forgetting something. Oh, okay. So we gotta exit our server and read on the server. Now hopefully it works. So if I go back, so without the send URL, let's do 2 plus 2, yeah, 4, yay. So what I want to go and do is make this sum an alert, basically. So we're gonna say alert, and then put it on here, sum. And then I'm gonna have some custom styling quickly, and we're about to be done with this tutorial. And this custom styling is very simple. We're just gonna basically have a background, so not background, we got targeting alert. So dot alert. Alright, we're gonna have a background of green, a padding of 1 rem, a border radius of 5 pixels, color white, and a margin 1 rem. Alright, so if I just quit the server and rerun it, I'm gonna go back, also refresh, 2, add, we have 4. Alright, so we have successfully created this app, and I'll see you guys in the next